ऐसे earphones issue है। Guys, am I audible? Please let me know in the chat box. Which one is not? Sir. Guys, please let me know in the chat box. Am I audible? We can start the session now. Yeah, fine. Okay, guys, let's start the session now. Last session I was discussed about object and class. Object and class. I have given like a brief introduction about object and class. Right, guys? What I told you yesterday, an object means the any real world entity. Any real world entity. What does it mean with class? Class means it is like a template of an object. Template of an object, right, guys? I will today I'm going to be go somewhat depth inside the objects and the class. Simply class means it is like a logical entity, guys, like a logical form. Class means it's like a logical template. Suppose we already know what does it mean by object, real world object. Object means it has, let's suppose this is one object. What that object consists? Object consists of some properties and some behavior, right? Behaviors. So this is one real-time object. So in the class, what we are going to be represent in the class, we are going to be represent the object of the like a logical template of the object. Like how we are going to be represent that one? It is like class. Let's suppose the object name. Let's suppose this is, I'm talking about dog. Let's suppose this is the dog. So class here will be dog. Dog. It has some properties. What are the properties? Let's suppose dog has a name and dog has some, let's suppose uh, what type of dog, right? Like I can say breed, and we can say double of dog is, right, guys? Then dog has some behavior. What are the behaviors? Like it can walk, dog can walk, and it can bark, right guys? So this is an object. Object is like a real world entity, and class is the logical represent of the object, right guys? You can clearly see here class dog. This is entirely the logical representation of the actual object. I hope you clear about these things, right guys? Now let's suppose we have a class now. We have a class. This is a logical representation. I told you, right? Logical representation. Now let's suppose we have a number of objects is there. Same type of objects. We have number of same type of objects. So how we are going to be represent like a using the this class for the same type of object. Let's suppose I am taking one example as a let's suppose I am taking one example as a student here. Class student. This is the student object of class. Let's suppose it has some properties. Let's suppose I'm taking as a string name and let's suppose int roll number and string university, right guys? It has some properties like uh, student can attend class, and student can give his name like tell his name, and there is a number of behaviors is there. So this is the one represent logical representation of the student. It has some properties. These are all properties, and these are all behaviors. Guys, you have to understand one thing here. The properties means nothing but a data type. Like it's nothing but a and behavior is nothing but a functions or methods. You have to remember this thing. Like properties means nothing but a like a variable. What the actual class consists of the some variables, that is we can represent as a properties, and what of the functions it has we can call it as those like a right. And let's suppose I have given them one logical entity of the student now. Now there is the number of same type of students is there, right? Let's suppose I am giving the one student. Let's suppose here one student is Rajesh. Let's suppose this is the Rajesh is one object, student object. So what the Rajesh consists, guys? Rajesh can have the same properties, right, guys? What are the properties? Let's suppose here name will be Rajesh, and what are the other properties? Is roll number. Roll number will be let's suppose 120, and university. Let's suppose university is let's suppose like Anna University. This is Rajesh is the one object, right, guys? Rajesh is the one object using we are representing by using the class student. Let's suppose I'm taking another object. Let's suppose here I'm taking another object. It's let's suppose the Gokul. It has some properties, same properties it has, right, guys? What are those properties? The name will be Gokul, and let's suppose roll number will be, let's suppose 1 to 1, and university will be same, like we can Anna University. We can take it as Anna University. Guys, you can see the year Rajesh and Gokul or any other. There is a number of objects which has the same properties, same type of properties. But here we have only one class, right, guys? This only one class. This is the logical representation of the student. We can say it's a logical one template. So using the template, we can define number of objects, right, guys? We can represent number of objects. So object means simply object means like instance of a class. Instance of a class. I hope you clear now, right, guys? The class means it's like a logical entity, logical like a template, and object means instance of the class, right, guys? This class is like a blueprint of the object. I hope you clear. Let's suppose we know using the any class we can derive like a we can instance or we can create number of objects, right? So every object has same properties, but it has the same properties of the sub particular class, but the values may be different, right, guys? Let's suppose here you can take like a Rajesh. Rajesh is the one object. His name is Rajesh and roll number is 120, like university is Anna University. But come to the other object like a Gokul. Here you can see it is using the same properties, but actually values are different here. Right, guys? So we can simply say that object to another object, the properties are maybe same, but the values of that properties may be different. Right, guys? So how can we like initialize, or how can we are going to be create an object from the class? This is the very important thing. I will tell you now how we are going to be create an object. Create an object. So this is a very important thing, guys. Let's suppose this is the one class. Student is one class. Student is one class. And here we need to give one reference name. Let's suppose I am giving here as a Rajesh equal to say new. New is a keyword. It is used to create a instance of the class. Which class? Student class. This is the student class. Guys, you can clearly see this is the new. New is the keyword. Keyword used to create an object. Create an object. Object of which class? Student class. And what is here? Here, this is the actual class. And this is the reference value. This is the reference value. I hope you clear. Right, guys? Here you can see how I have created an object. Here, student, Rajesh, new student. This is the, like a new is a keyword used to create an object. Here we have given one class. Here you can clearly see this is the looks like a method. Right, guys? Here student, it is the looks like a method. Why we are going to be use these type of methods are constructor. I will tell you the about the, I will talk about the constructor later. I'm just telling about like here we have to use one thing. Here we have to use the new is for the create an object, and we have to give a class name, right, guys? Here the class, that means what type of object we are creating. We are going to be create a object for the student class, right, guys? Guys, understand this one? Please let me know how we are going to be create an object here. No, but we told you, right? We told you one thing. Every object has every object properties are different. Like property values are different.
சொன்னான்லையா உன்கிட்ட சொன்னான்னு தெரியல யோகா குறிச்சு கிளாஸ் மாதிரி இருக்காரு கிளாஸ்
Okay, fine. Like every object, like a property values are different. Like different. So how we are going to be achieve this one? So for this one, we are going to be use the constructor. Constructor. What does it mean by constructor, guys? Constructor is used to initialize the properties of the class. Now I will tell you. So every class, if you want to initialize some properties of the class, so we must need one constructor in the class, right, guys? Let's suppose we have a student here. We have a class of student here. We have class of student here, and it has properties here. It has some properties. Let's suppose we have a properties here. So I've already told you, like every object has a unique properties, right, guys? Like a property values are unique for the those are like going to be changed for the object to the object, right, guys? So we need to initially we need to initialize those values with the that object values, right, guys? So for that one we need a constructor here. Let's suppose that constructor name should be same as a class name. Like here we have a class name is a student. So here also we need a constructor that name supposed to be same as a student, same as a class. Here we supposed to have a student. Guys, it is looks like a method. I can say it is like a special type of method, right, guys? Here how we can differentiate between the method and the constructor means the constructor should not have any return type, but method can have the return type. Method must have return type, at least void, right, guys? This is only the difference between the constructor and method. And here one thing you have to remember, the class name and the constructor name must be same. Here you can see our class name is a student. Here you can see the our constructor name is also student. It's supposed to be same. This is like a no parameter. Like here you can see there is I didn't given any parameters here, any arguments here. So I can say no argument constructor here. Let's suppose our requirement most of the times what we are going to be do, we have to initialize the properties with when we are going to be create an object, we have to give some property values to that particular object, right? For that one, what we need a constructor with arguments, with the arguments. So how we are going to be do that one? Let's suppose here the same name as a constructor, same name as a class, and we have to give some here some arguments. Right? Let's suppose student can have let's suppose student have a one property as a name, one property as a name. Here, if you want to initialize that name, what you have to give here in this argument, you supposed to give as one parameter name, right, guys? What we are going to be do here, we need to initialize the, let's say 1 minute, guys. Right, sir. మెయిల్ రూమ్కి వెళ్ళరా, అక్కడ మెయిల్ రూమ్కి వెళ్ళి ఒకసారి నా ఐడి చెప్తాను. 1 minute, guys. Wait a second. Okay. Sorry. Student then, like if you want to like initialize the some properties, so you must use the argument constructor. Here, let's suppose I have one property as a name. So if you want to initialize that name, you have to take the constructor here argument name as a name, like argument name, like let's suppose you have to give like this string name. So what you have to do, you have to initialize the things, right? How you are going to be initialized here? Here you can take it as a name equal to name. But what the problem you are facing? Here you can see that you didn't find the difference here, right guys? This name here, it is the local variable. This is the local variable. This is the local variable. But the property, our property here name, this is the instance variable. How we are going to be differentiate these two? For that one, we have to use one keyword as a this dot name. Guys, here you have to understand this one. This is a very important thing. This dot name means this entire thing is going to be represent instance, like the property of this class. This dot name is the property of this class, and this name is a local variable. I will give you the example. I will show you now. In Eclipse, I will show you so you will understand better. Let's suppose. Okay, I am creating the student here. Class, sorry, student here. I have created one student here. So let's suppose this student can have properties, right, guys? Let's suppose what are the properties? Let's suppose I'm taking as a string name, one property, and I can say double is one property, and I'm giving like a string class. Sorry. Hmm. And other thing is, let's suppose, let's take as of now, let's take these things like a student as some properties, string name, double, like name, age, and class name. I'm taking one extra, like let's suppose I'm taking here one test class, test. So here I'm going to be create some objects for the student. Let's suppose student, I'm calling, let's suppose Rajesh equal to new student. New student. Another object I'm going to create now. Student, let's suppose Gokul. New student. Guys, if you want to know, like if you want to print the property, let's suppose I'm going to be print here. Let's system.out.println now. See Rajesh dot name. I'm going to be print this one. And same way I'm going to be print about Gokul dot name. Right, guys? Let's see what is going to be happen. Let's check what it came. It is returning a null. Why? Because it has a like class as a properties, but here we didn't like initialize those objects, right, guys? So that's why we got here null. But our requirement is like we have to initialize the properties. Like Rajesh has some properties and Gokul has some properties. We have to initialize those one. So what we need to initialize those properties in the student class, we supposed to have a one constructor. Right guys, as of now I have given, here you can see a default constructor I have given, but the default constructor always like a always give the initialize with the default values. So that's why here Rajesh dot name, it is giving the null. Why it is a null? Here name is nothing but a, here you can clearly see, name is nothing but a string here. String default value of the string, it will be null. So that's why we got null. But our requirement is like we have a different like a different objects. Those objects we supposed to be like initialize with that its own values. How we are going to be do that one? So that purpose we supposed to should have here one constructor, argument constructor we supposed to have student, student. Okay. Now what we need to initialize those. So what the your requirement, like you have to initialize the name, you have to initialize the age, and you have to initialize the class name. So you supposed to have as an arguments in this constructor. So how we are going to be do that one? Let's check. String name and double age and string class name. String class name. Now we have done, but what we need to do, we need to initialize those with the properties. How we are going to be do that one? Here you can see name equal to name. What is going to be happen? Here it is clearly gives the like confusion, like which name is belongs to which one. Like this name, like in a student here in the argument name, it is local variable, but here name it is the instance variable, like instance of this class. So how we are going to be like a differentiate between these two? For that one, we are going to be use one keyword like a this dot name. So now you can see clearly differentiate between the local variable and the instance variable. This name is nothing but a instance variable. This name is nothing but a local variable. Right guys? Now the same way, this dot is equal to is, and this dot class name equal to class name. Class name. Okay, done. We have done here. Now come to the text here. Okay, I am giving some properties here. Like you can see string, first we need to give name. Here I am giving here name as a Rajesh. Here age we need to double number. Let's suppose my age is like, let's suppose like a 25D. That is double, so 25D. Here what we need to give? We need to give the class. Let's suppose I'm giving here like a, I'm giving here like a MTech. Right guys? In the same way, we are going to be creating another object for the student Gokul here. The name for the Gokul, and here is supposed to be, let's I'm giving it as like a 22D, and he is doing like a B Tech, right guys? Now check what is going to be happen. I am going to be printing here Rajesh dot name. Let's check what is going to be happen here. Guys, you can see we are just printing the name of the Rajesh. Rajesh is nothing but a object of the student. Right guys? We have printed this one. Rajesh dot name, it is, we will get it as a Rajesh. Rajesh dot like a Gokul dot name, it we will get as a Gokul. How it is going to be happen? How? Because like we have created a one parameterized like argument constructor. Using that constructor, we are going to be initialize the actual properties here. Right guys? I hope you very clear about the constructor. Guys, please let me know. Guys, have you understand this one? This constructor, why we supposed to use a parameterized or argument constructor here? Fine. Guys, this is very, very important thing. Let's suppose uh, most of the people will confuse here. Let's suppose take one example here, one real time example. Let's suppose here we have a login page. Let's suppose here we have a registration page is there. Let's suppose in the front end, you have a one page here. It is like we have a page. Let's suppose it is for the like a first name, the last name. This is for the mail. Okay, this is we have a, these three properties, and we have here one button called a sign up. Sign up button is here. Guys, this is the front end. Like what you can see in our web page, you will get this page. Like this, let's suppose this is the one sign up page. Sign up page. So when we click on the sign up button, what is going to be happen, guys? Guys, these will comes to the back end. Let's suppose it's go to the back end. There we have a one class for the sign up. One class for the sign up. Right, guys? Sign up. It sign up has some properties. Let's suppose here the properties of a string first name, string last name, and string email ID. Email ID. What is going to be happen? Let's suppose 100 users is there from the front end, like 100 users trying to sign up the website. What is going to be happen, guys? So that means in some place 100 objects is going to be created. 100 objects is going to be created. Is going to be created. Those are all objects related to the sign up page, right, guys? All are objects going to be create the sign up page. Let's suppose when we click on the sign up, it is go to some page. Let's suppose it is go to the one class. Let's suppose it comes to the main function. What is going to be happen, guys? When we click on this one, the object is going to be created. How the object is going to be created? Let's suppose sign up. Let's suppose I am taking as an object one equal to a new sign up of this thing, like a first name, last name, email ID. In the one class, like if let's suppose here I'm telling about the main function. You actually in the backend we can write the other functions. Okay, guys, in this way an object is going to be created. I hope you very clear about the how we are going to be create the number of objects for the class. Guys, understand, guys? Guys, please let me know. Have you understand or not this one? Guys, my class is like these sessions only focus on the like how to clear the level 3 like application development. I am going to be focused on mostly this thing only. Guys, if you want to learn more about the objects or more about these are all the things, you separately you can check with any YouTube videos. You will find lot of videos regarding the object in depth. I'm just here teaching about what are the things you supposed to know. Like those are how you are going to be use those things in the actual application development. That's the only my clear focus on that thing only. Right, guys? In this way, we are going to be create an object. Okay. Now, very important thing is here like a class diagram. So usually while you are like implementing actually any application, you supposed to like implement like you supposed to draw one class diagram. Let's suppose class diagram. How you are going to be draw a class diagram. Let's suppose it is a student. I am taking about the student here. Student as I told you, student as some properties. It has some behavior, right guys? Behavior. So how we are going to be represent this class in a class diagram? I will show you here. I will show you here. Let's suppose these are like a UML diagrams, guys. UML. Let's suppose how we are going to be do this means like here we have to give it as a class name. Here the student is a class name, right? So here the student. Here the student. Here this part we have to give the properties. And here this part we have to give the behavior. That means let's suppose the class name here student. What are the properties we have, guys? We have properties like a name. We have a properties of like age. We have a properties like a university, right guys? University. These are all the properties. And what other things we need? We know the class name done, properties done. What are the behaviors? Behaviors means like the functions. What are the functions we have? Attend class. Attend class. Right guys? And other function, let's suppose uh, write exam. Write exam. So these are all the behaviors. In this way, we are going to be represent the actual class diagram, guys. The first how we are going to be do? We are going to be created the three parts here. The first part is for the class name. This is for the class name. Second one is going to be represent for the properties. Third part is going to be represent for the represent of the all the behaviors. This is the thing. All the properties we are going to be written here in this way. All the behaviors is going to be right in this way. I hope you clear, guys. This is the class diagram. Guys, right, guys? Understand this one? Okay, fine. Now we have created the number of objects from the using the class template, right? So now I'm going to be explain about object diagrams. We have done already class diagram. I'm going to be implement here object diagram. Object diagram. Guys, tell me here, while I'm creating an object, any object, what I am used here? I have used only properties, right guys? Let's suppose I have one here. I have one object as a Rajesh. What I have used, guys, here? Here I have used, let's suppose this is about the Rajesh. What I have used here? Here I have used name. Name equal to Rajesh. Here age equal to 25 and university equal to Anna University. Right guys? I have used these things only. Here this is first part is going to be represent for the object name. Object name. And this part is going to be like a initialization of object like properties. Guys, understand these two things? Guys, here actually this is the object of the student, but while we are creating an object, we are not using the any properties. So that's why here I have not used I have not used anything for the behaviors here. What here I have given space for only object name and the initialization of the properties. But here the actual class diagram, class name and properties and behaviors all will be the available. Guys, understand this one? Object diagram and class diagram. Guys, please let me know. Guys, these are the very important things. Like, while let's suppose you're in an interview, let's suppose they have given you like any problem statement. you supposed to write it down like a draw these all the diagrams, and you have to explain the like a relation between the every class, right guys? For that one, you supposed to know about like a class diagram and object diagram. I hope you very clear about the class diagram and object diagram, right guys? No, let's suppose, let's take some uh, let's take some objects here. Let's suppose objects are classes here. I am taking here one class as a student class, or let's suppose I am taking here one teacher class. uh, oh, okay, fine, I will do here. Let's suppose come to here part. Guys, what in the class diagram what we have? Actually, class diagram is nothing but the what the class as. We are going to be represent those things in the class diagram. Actually, if you take any logic class, what we have? Let's suppose I am taking here one teacher class. I am taking here one teacher class. Teacher class. So teacher class have three things. First thing is a class name. Class name here teacher. And second thing is teacher has some properties. We have given space for the properties. And teacher can do some works. That means teacher has some behavior. So that is the space for the behavior. Wait, guys. Let's suppose. Let's suppose here I am taking the teacher class here. Class teacher. Yes, we have a properties. Let's suppose what is the teacher can have the some properties. What those properties? Let's suppose teacher has name, string name, and teacher has some qualification, right? Qualification, and I can say teacher has some S. Let's suppose double S, double S, right, guys? So these are all the properties, right, guys? These are all the properties of the teacher. And teacher has some behavior, right? What are those behavior? Teacher like teacher can teach, so this is one behavior. And teacher can conduct, let's suppose teacher can conduct some funny event. Let's suppose conduct funny events. This is one class, sorry, this is one behavior. Let's suppose teacher can conduct, let's suppose conduct the mock interviews. Let's suppose mock interviews, conduct mock interviews. This is one property, sorry, this is one behavior, right, guys? So how we are going to be represent the actual our class, our teacher, class teacher, in a class diagram? I will show you now. Let's suppose I already told you in a class diagram we have three parts. What are the first part is? It is going to be represent for the class name. Class name. What the name here? Class name is teacher. Right, guys? What the properties it has? The teacher has some properties. Those properties are the name and qualification, and age, and age. And what these are all the like, this is the class name, these are all the properties, and these are the behaviors. These are the behavior. What are the behaviors she can do? Like teacher can teach, teacher can teach, and teacher can like arrange funny events, like arrange events. Right, guys? These are all the behaviors. Guys, I hope you now clear, right? I hope you are very good at these things, class diagram. Please let me know, guys. Guys, have you understand? Yeah, fine. Okay. Actually, you can see here, while I'm implementing the classes, you may think these are all independent. Let's suppose I have a two classes here. Let's suppose I have a one class as a here class teacher. Then here I have a another class as a student. Another class as a student here. Another class here student. Just tell me here, here it actually here it is looks like a independent one, like a class teacher is like it is looks like a one independent one, and class student is a one independent one. But actually in the real world, student and teacher is an independent one or dependent one. Let's suppose teacher teacher teaches the student, right guys? Teaches the student. Here there is some relation between the teacher and student, some association. I can say association, right guys? Let's suppose I am giving you one example. Let's suppose um, user user class is there, class user, and let's suppose class bank account is there, bank account. It is looks like a year, it is looks like a independent, but in the real world it has a some relation. Let's suppose what the relation, user as bank account, right guys? Yes, bank account. So in that way, like if suppose if they have given you some technical requirement, first of all what you have to do guys, I will write it down here. Let's suppose in application development, in application development, what you have to do, first thing you have to do, first thing you have to define, you have to design, you have to design all classes, all classes. So how have designed the classes? Let's suppose here there is a, let's suppose there is a one online tutor application is there. Let's suppose they may give you task to implement the online tutor application. So what you have to do in that case, what are the things needed to implement the tutor application? What are the base things here you need? What are the base things you need to implement the online tutor application? Let's suppose online tutor application. Online tutor application. So in this online application tutor in this online tutor application, what are the base things, base classes we must need? We need here student, and second thing is like a teacher we need. So initially, what are the like unit things like teacher, student, or some other things may be available? Those are you have to implement the classes first. Like you have to design the classes first. Like this, you have to design the classes. So how you are going to be design? So you have to know the properties of the student and you have to know the properties of the teacher. How you know the properties of the teacher and the student? You have to check with your examiner, like you're in the real interview. What you have to do, you have to ask the examiner what are the properties student may have, what the properties teacher may have. Like that you have to ask, right guys? Based on the it sometimes in the question itself they may give you the entire technical requirements. sometimes they won't give you the entire all the technical requirements in the question paper. So you have to communicate with the examiner. You have to get the what actually the examiner is looking for. That is very important thing. Most of the guys is directed in the application development is they must they supposed to they are not good at communication, or they are not communicating well. The simple thing you have to understand here, if you know enter all the they have given the number of like requirements they have given, you know everything. That is not important things, like how you ask the questions, like how you interact with the examiner, that is very important thing. I hope you understand, right guys? The first thing you have to know what are the classes required for the application, right guys? Then you have to get the required the properties from the either from the question itself, or you can ask the examiner. Based on their feedback, you have to write the properties of the different classes. I hope you understand, guys. Guys, please let me know. Let's suppose I am giving the one example here. Let's suppose they may give you one application like a book a movie ticket. Book a movie ticket. Book a movie ticket. Okay, now tell me what are the base things we need actually? What are the base things we need to book a ticket, movie ticket? The first one is like a user. We need a user. User only going to book a ticket. Alright, guys. What are the other things we need? We need a movie. And what are the other things we need? We need a ticket itself. What are the other things we need? We need a theater. Yes, we need a theater. And what are the other things we need? Like that, we have a number of things. Right, guys? So first of all, what we need to do, you have to implement the classes itself. Like you have to write it down the classes like this. What are the base things we need? Any application things. Yeah, time is like a that is a part of either movie like that. Okay, you have to first note it down, or you have to try to understand the question first. Like, and from the question, you have to understand what are the base classes here we need. First thing you have to do like that. That is the very very important thing and first thing. If you know like all the classes, those are required for meant for those are required for the actual application. If you find it out all the classes, then that means you have already done, because you came for the third round. That means you are really good at the programming. So you can easily, if you find it out the what are the all the classes here needed, so you can easily solve that question. Right guys, this is very very important thing guys. Now after getting the after you have designed your own class, just based on the feedback or the requirement, you have written the I can say you have the properties and the behaviors you have written in the class you have done. Now what is the most important thing is needed? You need relation, right guys? You need a relation between these applications, like these classes. You supposed to have some relation. Every in the real world you can see everything has a relation. Let's suppose here user is there, movie is there, ticket is there, theater is there. What's the relation between these all the things? Guys, user supposed to go to the movie, so you need a ticket. Where you need to book a ticket from any theater. That is the relation, right guys? Here you can see user want to go to the movie. In a real world, just think about it. Let's suppose take it as you are a one user. You want to go to the movie. How we are going to be go to the movie first? User, user. It's let's suppose like user wants to go to movie, go to movie. So you need a ticket. You need a ticket, right guys? You need a ticket. You need a ticket. So if you need a ticket, what you need? you need a theater. From theater only you are going to be book the ticket. In that way you are going to be implement the own relation between these all the things. You have to find it out what is the relation it has. Based on that thing only you are going to be implement our application. This is very important. Most of the guys will confuse here only. So how to the relation between the actual classes you didn't find, then you may face the problem, right guys? I'm giving you some examples here. Let's suppose, guys, you have to understand one thing. Application development means that is not a new concept actually. That is, you already know. Only thing you most of the people will confuse here that get the relation. That is only the problem you are facing. Let's suppose I will give you the one simple example here. Let's suppose there is a car is there. Car is there. And suppose here bike is there. Bike is there. Guys, tell me one thing. Car is a vehicle and bike is a vehicle. Right, guys? Car is a vehicle, and bike is also a vehicle. Right, guys? Let's suppose if you they may ask you to find it out a bouquet, implement a one booking a lot. This is the one application. They may ask you to find it out. They may ask you that lot supposed to be available for the uh, car, bikes, and trucks, everything. Car, bike, bike, truck, etc. Let's suppose. So you're supposed to know where you have to start here. Here you can see clearly all are the vehicles, or car is a vehicle, bike is a vehicle, truck is a vehicle, etc. So what is the basic thing? There is some common thing between all. So for that one, first thing you have to take it as a vehicle, as a one class. You have to take it as, you have to implement the common properties which we are going to be used in the car, in the bike, right guys? In that way you are going to be achieve the like a code reusability. You are going to be do that. Let's suppose, simply I can say car is a vehicle, and bike is a vehicle. You can see there is some relation between these all the things. In the real world, you can see car is a vehicle, bike is a vehicle, right, guys? So why you need this one? Let's suppose in the parking lot, they may give you one requirement. Let's suppose the requirement is for car. Let's suppose 1 hour cost for the car, 1 hour. Let's suppose for the car, it's suppose 50 rupees. For bike, 1 hour bike, let's suppose 20 rupees. Same way for 1 hour, 1 hour for truck, let's suppose 100 rupees. So what are the common things? These are all the things we can add it in a vehicle, guys. The like how we know the car, bike, and truck, how we can differentiate? The differentiate is based on the number of wheels, right, guys? Bike may have two, bike has a two wheels, car four, and truck is a more than, I can say more than six. Let's suppose more than six. So how we are going to be do here? We are going to be take one vehicle here. The vehicle we are going to be write one property. Let's suppose vehicle. We are going to be write one property. The property, let's suppose int number of wheels. Number of wheels. What you are going to be do here? Let's suppose if you want to implement one class as car class, what you are going to be do here? So car is a vehicle. So the vehicle properties we are going to be used in the car here. So this is the number of wheels we are going to be use here. So I am going to be explain these things in tomorrow. As of now, what I told you, I hope you clear. Right, guys? Guys, please let me know what I have explained as of now. Have you understand? Guys, please let me know, guys. Have you understand what I have told today? I have explained today mostly initialization of objects, initialization, initialization, and trying to form a relation between the objects. Form a relation. Form a relation between objects. Between objects. So these are the very, very important thing. Right, guys? If you know how to initialization, you are almost done. Let's suppose sometimes I will give you the one example here. Let's suppose they have given a one question as a elevated design. Elevated design. This is the question, actual question as a elevated design. In that question, they said like all the lifts. Let's suppose all the lifts should be yet uh, last floor. Last floor or ground floor. Let's suppose last floor or ground floor should be at. That means what does that mean by that means let's suppose where it is lift will be available. Let's suppose there is a one building is there. Let's suppose it is a one building. Let's suppose take the one building. This is the ground floor, first floor, second floor, third floor, fifth, fourth floor, like that. Like let's suppose it is the 10th floor. Let's suppose 10, 9, like that. It is the ground floor, zero floor. So initially they ask you, this is the one module, they may ask you to find it out all the lifts supposed to be stood at the ground floor, let's suppose. So what you have to do, you are going to be create, let's suppose the lift is one object, you are going to be create, this is the class, here lift one, new lift. Let's suppose this is for the initial position you have to give. How we are going to be, let's suppose if you want all the lifts supposed to be in the ground floor, you have to here initialization with the zero. Zero means ground floor. Or let's suppose they may ask you to like find it out all the things supposed to be in the last floor. That means top floor. How we are going to be do that one? Let's suppose here the lift, let's suppose L2 equal to new lift of the last one. Let's suppose last one will be 10, let's suppose. So here we have to give like this. So this is the very important thing. Initialization of the object is very, very important thing. Alright, guys. Slowly, like day by day, we are going to be in depth into the application development, guys. So this is like a, I can't say I can't explain everything continuously like a 2 hours like that, because you supposed to understand and supposed to like work on your own. So that's why I'm not taking the long sessions for these things. I hope you clear, guys. I'm ending the session now. If you have any doubts, please let me know, guys. Tomorrow I'm going to be give more clear idea about the relation between the different objects. We already know the some relations. It has like a as a relation and association relation. Let's suppose I will give you one simple example here. I've already told you one example as like car is a vehicle. Car is a vehicle. This is one example. This is the one relation, is a relation. And let's suppose car as a engine. Car as a engine. This is another type of relation. You can see here car is a one class. Here vehicle is a one class. Here car is a one class, different class, and engine is a different class. So we are going to be achieve some relation between these things. So in our application development, we are going to be use these relations. Tomorrow I am going to be explain about these things, is a relation and as a relation. Guys, I hope you very clear. I'm ending the session now. Guys, if you have any doubts, please let me know, guys. Guys, please let me know if you have any doubts. Okay, fine, guys. Guys, you have attended, already there are number of times some guys attended for the third round, right? Try to implement these all the things like what I have told you as of now. Try to implement as of now, like initialization, and try to write it down the class diagrams and object diagrams. Try to achieve some relation between those things. Try to solve that one, guys. Okay, guys, I'm ending the session now. If you have any doubts, please let me know, or you can message me in the Telegram. I will give you reply when I have a time. Thank you, guys. I'm ending the session now.